Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's episode of Living Beyond the Cube, where we are having real discussions about how you can break free from living in the box, specifically the 9 to 5 box. I'm your host, Matthew, and if this is your first time actually tuning in, I want to say thank you for deciding to utilize your most valuable asset, which is your time, to listen to this podcast, and I hope that you get a lot of value from it. So, today's episode is very special because we're going to be talking about something that everyone thinks about. Now, you may not know that you think about this all the time, but subconsciously, you are always thinking about this one thing. And what is that one thing? It is money. Okay. It is money. Many people don't know that they're constantly thinking about money every single day subconsciously, whether it is if you want to go on a trip, whether it's buying food, whether it's paying bills, you are constantly thinking about money. And today, what I would actually like to ask you is, what are your thoughts about money? How do you feel about it? Does it make you excited? Does it make you nervous? Does it make you a little guilty if you feel like you earn too much money? Well, if you're anything like I was, you probably have some really negative thoughts about money growing up. And for a long time, those beliefs actually shaped how I thought about money, success, and even my own spiritual journey. So, in today's episode, we're going to be covering 4 topics, okay? We're going to be discussing 4 things. The first one is the negative thing that I heard about money. Number 2 is how I used to believe that making more money would actually make me a bad person. Number 3, the mental and spiritual battles that I faced about earning more money and creating wealth. And number 4, what I discovered when I started to study the Bible for myself and how it completely changed my perspective about money. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So, the negative things that I actually heard about money were: one, money is the root of all evil. Two, rich people are greedy. And three, more money, more problems. Now, if you've heard any of those kinds of things long enough, you start to believe them. And that's exactly what happened to me. I thought that wanting to make more money was selfish, and I even thought that it was very sinful. I started to think that people that had a lot of money, that they had done something wrong to get it, and maybe they had, cheated someone, or maybe they didn't care about anyone else but themselves. But here's the thing: I wanted more for my life, and you may have want more for your life too. I wanted to be able to be in a position to provide for my family. I wanted to be able to give to others, and I wanted to be able to live a life without constantly having to think about these bills. That's what really created a conflict in my mind, though. For a long time, I thought that wanting to make more money would make me a bad person. I'll think to myself, am I being greedy for wanting more? What if people think I'm all about money and not about helping others? And then there was this deep fear of, what if having more money actually changed me? What if I became one of those greedy rich people? And I have been warned about that my whole life. I have been warned about how people get money and then money changes them and all these different things. But what I actually discovered is that when you decide that you want to have a financial breakthrough, you are going to change. And what do you mean by you are going to change? Well, you're going to have to change by developing new habits. You're going to have to change by saying no to things that you used to say yes to. Those are things that are going to have to change in your life, because instead of money being your master, it needs to become your slave. And I talked about that in my last episode. So, what is the deal with money? The truth is, I don't think that I actually even realized that I wasn't afraid of money. I was really more so afraid of what it might actually do to me. And what really makes things even more complicated is that I'm a person of faith. And I've always wanted to be able to live a life that pleases God. But somehow along the way, I started to believe that money and spirituality, like, they don't mix. I thought that being holy meant being humble or living in poverty or living paycheck to paycheck. And this belief kept me stuck for a long time. And it wasn't really until about almost 3 years ago that I ran into this guy, Myron Golden. And if you do not follow him or haven't seen any of his content, go look at his content. He actually has two channels. One is, I believe, Bible study with Myron Golden, and the second one is just Myron Golden. But at any rate, he helped open my eyes to be able to understand that having wealth, having more money is actually a God given right. Well, I'm not going to say it's a right because you actually have to work for it. And not everybody is meant to be rich if you're not willing to put in the work. Not everybody is meant to build generational wealth if you're not putting in the work. But there's an opportunity. I'll say that it's a God given opportunity that we have as believers to be able to have an abundant life and not just living paycheck to paycheck. So the mental battle that I actually ended up facing was, on one hand, I wanted to succeed financially. I wanted to not just go out and buy nice cars and all that and all those things, even though they're nice, but I really wanted to be able to have a life where I don't have to focus on living paycheck to paycheck. Like, going to work and living paycheck to paycheck, that causes you so much confusion. It causes you so much strain. It causes you to have bad attitudes and all those different things. And on the other hand, I didn't want to feel like I was letting God down. I didn't want to feel like, man, all I'm doing is spending all this time reading these books, learning how to manage money, learning how to make money, learning how to sell, learning how to do marketing, learning how to develop skill sets that will allow for me to be able to get paid. And I started to feel kind of bad. But here is actually what I discovered in the Bible. So when I decided to start reading the Bible for myself and started to study it, I realized something extremely powerful. Now go with me here. It says in the Bible that God is a king, and it refers to me as a believer as his child. So if God is a king and I'm his child, that means that I am called to live in abundance. If God is a king and you are his child, that means that you are called to live in abundance. Now, that does not mean that you're going to be going out here and just earning hundreds of millions of billions of dollars, even though it's possible. But that does mean that you should not be sitting here stressing every single day about money going here, money going there, you paying this bill, you not being able to help your family member out because you can't financially do it, and all these other things. You are called to live an abundant life that is not focused, as I stated earlier in this episode, focused on money. So as I started to think more about this, to dive a little deeper in God is a king, I'm his child, God is a king, you're his child. Kings are known by their wealth and the size of their kingdom. Now, in the Bible, there's a character in the Bible. His name is King Solomon. Now, King Solomon was one of the wealthiest men in history, and he used his resources to expand his kingdom and bless others. Now, there's a lot more that goes on with that story too, but he became, at the early stages of his life, he became the wealthiest person in the world. It even states in the Bible that there was none as wise as him, and there was none richer than him. So if God is my father, if God is your father, and he's the ultimate king, why would he want you to live in lack? Why would he want me to live in lack? And here's what I actually discovered. Money is a tool to be used, not the enemy. The Bible doesn't say that money is the root of all evil. It says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. And it's not wrong to have money. It's wrong to love money. And you may be sitting there thinking like, well, Matthew, what's the difference? Well, when you love something, let's say that you love your husband, you love your wife, you love your kids, you love your parents, you love your friends. When you love something, what does that mean? that means that you will go any measure to protect it. You will go to any measure to get it. You will go to any type of extreme to make sure that you are there for that person and that you are able to um basically you would do anything for that person. When you love money, and this is where money becomes evil, when you love money, that means that you will do any and all kinds of evil to make money. This is where you get people that are scamming people. You're getting these scam calls. You're getting these people that are going out and selling people things that are not actually quality products, or you're getting money from people that you're saying you're going to provide this type of service and you're not providing that service. That is where money actually becomes evil, because you are now manipulating people, and manipulation is different from persuading. Okay, you are manipulating people, basically tricking them into think that, hey, they're going to get, let's say, for instance, hey, you're going to get this, but instead of me actually giving you this, when you give me your money, I give you this. That's a huge difference. Now, the second thing that I found out is wealth is meant to help others. Now, I already know what you're thinking. I already know what you're thinking. You're going to say, but in the Bible it says don't store up treasures for yourself where moth and rust come to destroy it. It does say that. I'm glad you actually brought that up. But you have to read that slowly. It says do not store up treasures for yourself. Then if you actually go look in Proverbs, it says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So I'm now I'm just saying this stuff is in the Bible. People have these nice quotes that make you feel good on Sunday morning, but reading the Bible slowly. And this is not me diving deep into anything. But if it says do not store up treasures for yourself, but then also the Bible says that the a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, doesn't that mean that you have the opportunity to go out there and build something as long as you're not thinking of yourself? Yes. Will you have an opportunity potentially to benefit some of the harvest of what you've actually been sowing? Yes. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't personally believe that God cares that you want to go out and buy a nice house or you want to have a nice car. Go have a nice house. Go have a nice car. But do not let that be your life. Do not let that be the reason why you are living. Myron Golden actually said this, and I believe this to be true as well. Part of our purpose on earth, and that looks different for everybody, but the common denominator is we are put on this earth to please God and to serve people. So our lives should be a reflection of God within the world, and we should be serving people. When you have more money, are you able to serve less people or are you able to serve more people? And even if I think about this, or even if you think about this, I know that there's like homeless people everywhere and different things like that. Some people have signs up that say, can you help out with food or different things like that? And then generally, before I got to this point of being able to manage my finances and all those different things, I used to sit there and contemplate, man, I only got $100 in my account and I got some bills coming up, but I want to help this person. Should I help them or should I not? And I don't believe that God wants us to be living a life like that. So once I actually realized that these things were in the Bible, this is what I had to do. I had to completely unprogram and basically erase everything that I thought in my mindset that I knew about money. I stopped seeing money as bad and I started seeing it as a tool that could be used to be able to make a difference. So what is my new perspective on money? Here's the bottom line. Wanting to have more money is not greedy. It doesn't make you a bad person, and it definitely doesn't make you less or unspiritual. When I changed the way that I thought about money, everything in my life started to change. I began to see wealth not as an idea of myself, but as a God idea. And I see it as an opportunity to be able to impact myself or my family, myself, and to live the kind of life that God created for me to live, which is being able to help others. Now, I'm not saying that the only way to help other people is with finances. However, if you are able to utilize your finances to be able to help someone, I believe that that allows for things to happen exponentially. So here's actually what I want to challenge you as we come to the conclusion of this episode. I want you to sit down and I want you to think about all of the thoughts that you have about money and actually get a sheet of paper, get a pen, and write down what are your thoughts about money. Then I want you to see it as then I want you to think of in money as instead of those things that you think of money or the ways that you think of money, instead of thinking of it those ways, think of it as a tool to be used that you can not only bless others, but you can take care of your family without subconsciously always thinking about money, always thinking about a bill coming up. So if you've been struggling with financial beliefs, here are three things that I do want to leave you with. Money is not evil. It's what you do with it that matters. Abundance is a blessing and it's not a curse. And God created you to live a life of purpose and impact. And one of the ways, this is not the only way, but one of the ways that you can do that is by being able to have more money. You can help more people when you have more resources. That is point blank, period. So this week, I encourage you, as I stated earlier, to take some time to think about your beliefs about money. What negative thoughts have you had about money? How have those beliefs been holding you back? And what steps can you take to start seeing money differently? And if you're ready to start diving deeper into this, I want you to go ahead and buckle up your seatbelt and get prepared because these next future episodes, I'm going to be talking about the transformation that I've had with money, the steps that I've taken to not only be able to have more money, to be able to keep it when it comes in, but to also be able to generate more money. I want to thank you for taking your time out again, for tuning in to this episode. If you found this valuable, make sure you go ahead and leave a like, comment what your biggest takeaway is below, and I will catch you in the next episode.